Welcome to our class this evening on anxiety and pets. My name is Laura Shorter, and I'll be your host this evening to talk with you about things we can learn about our cats and dogs. A little bit about me. I've been with Pottery for 3 years, and I'm also a dog breeder and an animal lover. So this is an area that's very dear to my heart, and I'm really glad to be able to be here to talk with you about it tonight. So first of all, pets having stress is a real thing. And you may already know that. You may have the blessing to have a very laid back dog that doesn't, or cat that doesn't have these issues, but it's very common. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight about ways that you can help them, tips to understand, and just ways that we can continue to be the best pet owners we can be. Next slide, please. So why is my dog so clingy? Or maybe your cat? Well, they could have learned from us. Animals mirror our emotional state. If you're upbeat and high energy, your dog may very well be high energy as well. If you're very calm and relaxed and laid back, your animal may very well also be that way. Now, there are exceptions, but they definitely pick up on our moods and our emotions and on our energy, and it does make an impact. We need to give our pets time to and experiences to build independence and learn to self-soothe. So there's a couple of terms we're going to talk about tonight, and I want to differentiate them. One is separation anxiety, and the other is clingy pets. So a clingy pet is an animal that wants to be with you when you're home, the traditional Velcro cat or dog. And they are going to follow you around. They're going to be your shadow. They're going to be with you all the time. It's that animal that's right underfoot, right where you are every minute. Now, that's a little different than separation anxiety, because separation anxiety has to do with when you're not home. This is the dog that barks the whole time you're gone and the neighbors tell you about it. Or the cat that destroys things, that's pooping in your flowers while you're gone, your indoor plants, for example. And so they're acting out in some way because they're upset and struggling with being comfortable when you are not in the home. So there's also senior dogs and very young puppies or kittens, and that's different as well. So for puppies, usually what we're doing is we're trying to teach them how to self-soothe and have independence. They're young, they're impressionable, and they're turning to their pack skills. So when you're gone, that is really scary for them. And when you're there, they're going to follow you around and imitate what you do. Now, senior dogs also have issues, and cats too, because they have cognitive dysfunction syndrome sometimes. And what this means is their memory, their learning, their perception are deteriorating. So could their eyesight, their hearing, they could be physically slowing down and having discomfort from that. And so they might have a hard time not wanting you there all the time. So these issues can impact their ability to be independent when you're not home, or to be independent when you are home, either way. So health issues in any pet are something to note. So like when you see behavior changes in your animal, an animal that hasn't had trouble in the past, but all of a sudden is now following you around the house in a way that's new and different. Or an animal that used to be fine when you were gone and is not fine when you're gone now. This is something to consult your vet about, because this could be an indicator of a health problem that needs assistance. Sometimes it's something emotional, change in routine, whatever, but sometimes there's something going on with them and they're trying to tell you. Next slide, please. So signs of anxiety: look for your pet's behaviors and body language. So anytime you see any unwarranted aggression or repeatedly aggressive behavior. For example, you go to reach for their dog food bowl and they growl at you, and that's not something they've done before. Is there something going on that they could be anxious about? Something where you see repeated unusual behaviors, certain barking at certain things, like if there's loud noises in the neighborhood. I have one dog who will bark. We have to work through that. Also, urinating or defecating in the house if they are house trained. This is not what we mean with little puppies. We're not talking about puppies who are still learning or adolescent dogs, but adult dogs who are well established in their house training, who are now regressing. That can be a symptom of anxiety. Excessive panting or drooling, ears pinned, tail tucked, destructive behavior near exits or entries. So that dog that's been clawing at the door jamb while you're gone at work, or the dog that's having accidents on the rug right inside the front door. Depressive behaviors. So this can be like loss of appetite, lack of playing with toys, or unwilling to losing their motivation for training. There's also pacing, restlessness, repeated or compulsive behaviors. So a dog that's compulsively licking, or a dog that is starting to hide dog food. Like we had a dog years ago, we had a baby, and our dog was really struggling with this baby crying, and she would hide her dog food behind the couch. She was really having a hard time. We got through it, but she was very anxious about this new loud baby crying. She was not handling it well. And then also overly friendly or needy with their owners when people come to visit. Next slide, please. Thank you. So how to help your dog become confident and independent? First of all, you want to rule out any physical or emotional issues. I really love to consult the veterinarian, but also a behavioral veterinary specialist. There are dog trainers who specialize in behavior. There are veterinary behaviorists, but typically a really good trainer that comes highly recommended for behavior can help you rule out if there is actually some kind of an anxiety disorder. But if it's just some anxiety they're working through, this doesn't mean you're going to have an anxious dog for life, but there may be something going on. So one thing you want to look at is overall health. So this is something that we can really, as pet owners, have some control over. Get a very good high-end probiotic. A lot of emotional problems often are linked to gut imbalances. It's true in humans as well. We know that people with IBS, often it's because of stress, right? Sometimes dogs have issues with their stomach and it can cause anxiety or vice versa. The other two things that you can look at for digestion and calm, healthy dogs, especially their stomach, is salmon oil and bone broth. Bone broth has collagen in it and it seals the gut and it helps to settle an upset tummy. So that's part of why sometimes we see anxious dogs that are having vomiting, diarrhea, or urinating in the house. Their gut biome is off and it's making everything act up. So if you can settle down their tummies, sometimes you can settle down what's going on emotionally for them. If you can pair these supplements with good exercise and excellent food, go for a food that is highly digestible and has no corn, wheat, or soy. Corn is very bad for the gut and there's a lot of toxins in it. So if you want to think about care and stability of your dog or cat, create consistent routine and environment. So that means meal times, play times, sleep times, enrichment, and you do want to have activity in there. You don't want to overdo it, but you want to make sure that you get time every day to spend with your dog, playing fetch, taking a walk, whatever things they like to do. Even something like taking a drive. Did you know that a 30-minute car ride is equal to 10 minutes of vigorous activity for a dog? So there's lots of ways you can do it, especially in the summer heat. So you want to also have mental stimulation. So there's physical stimulation and then mental. So those are things like Kongs that you can freeze with some bone broth or a little bit of dog food wet and freeze in the freezer. Interactive toys, puzzles, slow feeders are excellent for anxious dogs. You've probably seen them. They look like a maze and they usually have all the slots. Any of these things reduce tension and also help them digest their food better. Remember, we also want them to digest their food well because it will impact their mood and their ability to handle stress. Create a safe place. So think about dogs, for example, they're den animals. So if your dog is a dog that loves a crate, then maybe a blanket over their crate might help, or maybe a really cushy bed in there. Think about making it their special space. And our dogs actually really enjoy their crates, but we also leave the door open when they're free roaming the house, and they'll often just go lay down in it while they're hanging out with us when we're watching TV or whatever, if they're not in our laps, of course. And for cats, cats love small spaces. You know, they love a brown paper bag to hang out in or a box. They're pretty easy to please, aren't they? Right? Give a cat a milk ring and a box, they're happy. um, that's one thing about cats. So find out what your animal likes and make that their special space. And you might have a couple special spaces, maybe one in your bedroom and maybe one in your living room, you know, the places you hang out. And then when you're gone, let them have access to that special space. It's very possible that a dog that struggles with you being gone will do better if they're in their crate versus roaming the whole house. Some dogs might be calmer roaming the whole house than being in a crate. So that'll be something to experiment with and know your animal. Um, Another idea are options that are holistic. CBD is an excellent choice. There's also other supplements like I mentioned before, salmon oil, bone broth, and probiotics. And shoes and toys. So they actually have calming, safe toys your animal can have when you're not there. So I'm not sure about cats. I'm not a specialist on cats, but we use Chillax chew bones in their crates for my dogs or Benebones, and both of them are safe in the crate. They help soothe them. Again, just like a car ride, 10 minutes of chewing a day is equal to like a big hot run in the backyard. So it really is a calming activity to give them chewing in addition to brain puzzles and slow feeders. So we're still working on CBD as an option in the sense that it hasn't been through official testing. However, CBD treatments are anecdotally known for helping reduce tension and stress in puppies and people. I take it myself and find it very helpful. So we want to help our pets thrive, not just survive. Anxiety is a normal emotion that they will sometimes go through. We want to help them go through it in such a way where they see that they are safe with us, that we have the situation where they're pack leaders and it's going to be okay. We want to give them the best quality of life we can. Okay, so what does CBD do for our pets? So there are a couple of options on the market. One is hemp seed extract type calming items. And for example, they work one way to do calming type help to pets, and that is typically short acting and more immediate. So you can give that to them, and in 90 minutes, it will connect and it will help soothe them right there. CBD, however, works a little differently. It's the same plant, but processed differently, and it works synergistically throughout the body, through all the systems of the body, not just calming. It helps with joints and brain function and skin. It's an amazing thing. And it helps promote calm, but does it over time. So that's more something you want to consistently use with your pet, the CBD. So if you're going to make a commitment to that, you might want to try it for 90 days and see if you see a difference. It also helps with joint aches and discomfort. It helps with joint function and mobility, immune system, cognitive function. I've already mentioned some of these. Seasonal allergies, did you know that? I mean, CBD is an amazing thing. It also helps with skin and coat. So it's a natural supplement that is available to you, and it's really an incredible item. Now, not all CBD supplements are, though. You want to get a quality CBD item from a source you can trust. So when you think about selecting that CBD item for your pet, just think about the fact that you want it to be natural and organic, no GMOs. You don't want it heavily processed with chemicals. You want a broad spectrum to reap the benefits of the hemp plant, except the THC. So what is THC? That is the chemical that can be found in CBD that would cause hallucinogenic effects or the ability for your animal to get high. So you want to make sure that it has they're only allowed to have like 0.03% THC and CBD anyway, so you want to make sure it only has that much or less. And you want to go with an extract and not an oil. That's also real important because it ensures a higher quality of that CBD. And you want something developed by veterinarians. So important things to think about. All CBD supplements are not the same. Next slide, please. Very nice. So we have the 4th of July coming up. Did you know that the 4th of July for us is awesome, right? Picnics, fireworks, family time, community block parties, not so for our pets. They are physically triggered in fear from the flashing lights and the loud sounds. It's very frightening to them and they do not understand. So we need to be very careful about how we handle this holiday. So when the anxiousness is happening, well, let me back up a second. Before the holiday, prepare. Have a plan in place. The biggest thing is going to be containment. Did you know this is the biggest day of the year that dogs run away? Because the fear of these flashing lights and loud booming sounds and crowds oohing and awing, if you live near, especially if you're in a neighborhood where you can hear the crowds, it causes a flight response in the dog and they will run. A dog that normally doesn't jump your fence will totally jump your fence to run away and hide. So if you take your dog out during a firework exposition to your own backyard, take them on a leash. Don't take them to the parade. Don't take them to the fireworks. I know it's tempting, but they won't enjoy it. If you can be home with them, that is best. Take them out to the bathroom before the fireworks start, then keep them in with you and have that safe space for them, be with them, and utilize some calming items if needed. So this could be your hemp seed oil extract. This could also be your CBD. You could use calming music. The week before the fireworks, you can do some desensitizing with firework sounds. You can find them on Spotify and YouTube. You can even play that on your computer or whatever. Let them see the bright lights and the shooting out of the fireworks. But anything you can do to try to avoid these triggers is always ideal. However, if you're in the middle of the situation or another situation and your dog is experiencing stress, here are some things you can do. Remain calm. I know you're thinking now, of course I'll be calm, but in the moment it's like, oh my gosh, you poor baby, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I let this happen, right? It's important that we don't do that because we need to be calm and confident and show them it's okay. I've got this. I can protect you. If we freak out, what happens? They think this is really scary and they can't protect me and they're going to live in fear. So it's very important that we are able to be calm and confident as we comfort them, compassionate, but calm. We don't want to contribute to their fear. So if you can remove the stress trigger, do it. Let's say you're out in the backyard, you forgot the neighborhood fireworks were starting. Okay, calmly get them back inside, get them distracted with a toy, with some music, cuddle on your lap, go to the basement where the fireworks aren't as loud and you can't see the flashing through the windows, you know, anything you can do to get away from it. And try to avoid stressful things. Like if you know your dog hates crowds, don't take them to the farmer's market, take them to a nice quiet park at a time of day where it isn't as busy, you know? And if there's a certain trigger they have, you can work with a trainer to desensitize them to that. Like if you have a dog that freaks out when the mailman comes, you can have a trainer come and work with you to help them get past this fear or a fear of riding in the car. You know, there's things often that we see patterns in when an animal struggles with fear. And so it's a great idea to get a trainer involved. There's even online trainers now. You want to consult professionals because we don't want to push a dog past its threshold. They're a little different than people because we work through our fears, right? We want to push through. We want to overcome our problems. Animals are different. They don't have the cognitive ability to do that, and they don't get to choose whether they do it or not. We don't want to accidentally try and get them to work through a problem and then push them over their fear threshold. So don't be shy about getting a professional involved when needed. Consistent training will strengthen the bond between you and your animals. My sister has 2 Siamese cats. She trains these cats. It's so cool. So even cats can learn tricks and different things. But even though you might think, what's this got to do with anxiety? It builds the bond and it builds confidence for them. And so in an anxious situation, sometimes you can distract them with playing one of the games you use for training. Let's see. So you also want to make sure that you get regular exercise with your dog. Know your dog. If you have a high energy, really driven dog, that dog might need 3 walks a day or fetch twice a day in the backyard. You might have another dog that is more laid back and they're going to be really happy with a leisurely walk and they might chase the ball a few times. So know your animal, know their fatigue, don't overdo it, but make sure you have a regular pattern of exercise that always helps decrease anxiety. And if you need help beyond these ideas, consider some calming products, talk to your vet about it, talk to your pet professionals about it, talk to your trainer, don't be shy about getting help if you need it. All right, next screen, please. Okay, so now I'd like to open this up for some questions. Who would like to ask? Who has things they'd like to say or comment about?
Laura, this is Christy. Sorry.
Hi, Christy.
Could you talk a little bit more about, when you didn't realize that there was going to be this stressful trigger and then you can't get them to take the calming chew that would usually help work them down? Can you talk anything more about that?
Well, a lot of these calming chews take like 60 to 90 minutes to work. So if you're already in the middle of the anxiety situation, you may not, yeah, they probably won't eat for you and it's too late. So that's when you would use calming music, you would get them out of that situation. And it would depend on the severity of the situation. So if you're talking about something really big, like not the fire truck, the garbage truck in our neighborhood is big and squeaky. And it is really, we have one dog that's really struggled with fear of it. The others don't care at all, but this one has had trouble. I made the mistake early on. I learned the hard way when the garbage truck came. We're better off knowing what day the garbage truck's coming and being inside. And we can sit, I would open the door and we sit and I give her treats and we watch it go by. But if she got caught outside without seeing it coming, then she'd be really upset about it. Over time, we were able to get her worked through it. We got to the point where we'd be inside the house with the back door open, marching the garbage truck, having treats. Then we get a little closer the next week. And it took us like 6 months to get off the porch, and she still doesn't love to be out there when the garbage truck is there, but it took a good year before she was not upset if she was out there with the garbage truck. And it was just a quirk with this one dog we had. So that's like a big anxious stressor. Let's say if something smaller, like you're taking a walk and there's a dog coming the other way and your dog starts to bark. And they're having some anxiety, right? Because that's often what that is. They're reacting. That's not as big as that freaked out dog with the garbage truck I'm speaking of. This is a smaller thing. You can just turn the other way and keep going, right? Doesn't have to be a big deal. So part of it's like knowing how big of a deal it is, how big of a scary of a thing it is, and helping them work through it. And that's where getting a trainer involved is really important. And doing your research. There's tons of great stuff online. If you Google fearful and reactive dogs, because you want to discern how to handle it so you don't accidentally confirm their worst fears, that fire hydrant is going to eat them. Or whatever their crazy thing is. Sometimes it's totally irrational, right? Fireworks are not irrational. They're loud, they smell funny, they're big, people are oohing and awing and acting weird, and like something like a parade or like a farmer's market, some dogs are fine, some are not. Some cats are real funny with certain kinds of things they're afraid of. So when you're in the moment and it's too late to use a calming item, Now, oh, the other thing we didn't talk about was essential oils. So I also diffuse essential oils. I use lavender a lot. And we also actually have a really nice blend we have right now. We're working with Jordan Essentials on a calming kit specifically for 4th of July. So you can diffuse for like 20 minutes and then turn it off. And then a couple hours later, 20 minutes and turn it off. But it just is one more way to help calm. And that's more immediate than say the hemp or CBD that, well, the hemp is your short acting. So your hemp seed is what you'd want for a one-time thing. CBD would be like a dog that struggles with general anxiety. Like you have an anxious dog, that's different than a dog that's afraid of thunderstorms and fireworks, if that makes sense. Does anyone have anything to share about times where they've had a win with an animal or a fear they're seeing that they're struggling with? While you guys are thinking, let me check out the chat. See if we have anything else. Oh, Brittany said great tips. I'm so glad. Questions about constant panning. Okay, Melissa, would you be willing to tell me what elaborate on that? Like, feel free to unmute or write in the chat, either way. Okay, well, while we're seeing if Melissa comes back, does anyone here have any cats they're afraid of things or have fear? Cat fear? No? Oh, trying to unmute. Melissa's coming. Okay, well, while she's coming, I will tell you about my sister's Siamese cat, Millie. Now, Millie is afraid to let you pet her from the top. She's an anxious kitty. She really is. She's much better than she was when they first got her. They got her as a baby. She's just a very jumpy, little nervous, fraidy cat. But if you come from below and get her chin, you know, this way, she's fine. But if you try to go over head, she will not have it. Or even the side, she'll let you pet her flank, but she does not want you to pet her head. So like knowing those things about an animal, and really she's a great cat. She's not a big cuddler, but she's sweet and fun and funny, and she'll come over and smell you and let you pet her for a little minute. I mean, she's my sister's cat. She lets her pet her, but she, you know, but that's an example of knowing your animal. First, so that's more of a chronic low grade anxiety that's very, you know, tolerable versus the acute intense fear of the fire truck or the mailman or riding in a car. How you doing, Melissa? Any luck? Okay, while she's working on unmuting, by any chance, Christy, can you see if you can help her unmute? Or Allison, one of you guys? So in your email after this class, you're going to get this cool PDF. I really like it because it kind of just summarizes what we talked about tonight, and it's kind of like just a little blip to remind you. So anxiety in pets, seriously a well-documented veterinary issue. Like, this is not in your dog's head, and you are not alone to have an animal that's struggling. 33%, 1 in every 3 pets suffer from feeling anxious during their lifetime. Okay. Oh, you know, one thing I didn't talk, or 2 things I didn't talk about, hiding and shedding. So shedding and fear is certainly a thing. And then also hiding. They'll go and hide. And, you know, cats are notorious when you try to move, they'll go and hide and you can't find them. Like my one girlfriend's cat was like in the stove and it took him 2 days to find this cat. And dogs will run away sometimes when you're moving and won't come back for a minute because they're freaked out. Let's see. So there's just all kinds of nice stuff in here talking about different kinds of, oh, there's some music therapy. So lots of great things for you to think about. The situational anxiety with the chillax. So products we recommend. Paw Tree has excellently sourced, well-made pet products with integrity, which is why I'm with that company. I actually breed dogs, and I'm a dog lover. And well, I love cats too. I just don't own any right now. But we have kind of like a whole line we recommend. So we have the Chillax for situational anxiety. We have generalized anxiety, which is what we would recommend the CBD Mega for. However, I will tell you, I have all my dogs on CBD Mega as their wellness preventative, even if they don't have any anxiety. It's just a great overall supplement. And then the Chillax to the Max Bone, that is like my favorite thing. We have so many of those in this house, and they're great because you can have them in the crate and not worry about them tearing them up. On the right here, you'll see you can get these in a set, the Keep 'em Calm set, and then the Pet Zen set that I mentioned a few minutes ago, where you can diffuse essential oils for 20 minutes on and then 2 hours off. And you can couple that with Chillax during stressful times. So that might be 4th of July. That might be Thanksgiving dinner, or whatever, that weekend that you have house guests, whatever it is that your dog's got to get through. Okay, so let's see here. I've got a couple more comments. Melissa, did you have any luck unmuting? Or if you want to, you can type in the chat about your constant panting. Holly says Chillax is a game changer for my Embry in Southwest Florida. The raining season. Oh, Florida's crazy. My sister lived in Florida for a long time. When I'd go visit, you would have that like crazy humidity, and then like 3 o'clock, the heavens would just open and be this crazy storm for half an hour or whatever. I remember that. I can see how that'd be a big thing. And then Deb says, I have an 8-year-old Noof that is on Patri with GastroPro Plus and allergy support, and I have noticed his anxiety is increasing with age. I have CBD that I give when he overplays. I assume with age he is developing anxiety. Where we were at that point till now. Suggestions. Okay. Well, one thing I'll tell you about CBD is you have to give it daily for it to really have much impact. So if you're using CBD for joint pain and discomfort, you really want to use that daily, and it will help with calming for sure. And I don't know with giant breeds like a Newfoundland, at what age they start to have the cognitive challenges. But that might be something to look into, if maybe that's part of it, because there's a lot of anxiety when they're starting to get more confused and their eyesight's starting to dim, things like that. Oh, he won't chew on his Chillax bone. Shoot, was he a chewer before? I'll let you answer. Okay, Melissa thinks she's ready. Okay, Melissa's going to talk to us about excessive panting. Melissa, go for it.
All right, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yay. So last night I just now got a foster dog. And so she pants constantly, and the owner or the people that I picked her up from stated the same thing. So I've been giving her gave her Chillax to get home. It was an hour and a half car ride home. And then unfortunately, she got to stay home by herself today because I got called into my day job. But she pants constantly. So I gave her Chillax today before I left. And I also diffuse lavender and copaiba. I always say that name wrong. And I think that was good for the morning, but then of course it ran out because I had to work 12 hours today.
Yeah.
But the people that I had her from states it was constant panting. So is there something else that I should look into, or is it just because she's been passed around right now?
Okay, I've got a couple questions for you before I give my 2 cents. And if anyone else wants to join in, I would love to hear what y'all think. So feel free to unmic and jump in. This is a casual forum. My first question is, how long was that dog staying with the last people?
About 10 weeks.
And how long has this dog been with you?
1 night.
Okay, so and how old is the dog?
She's 3.
So your average adult dog, from my understanding, and I'm not an expert in rescue rehab, but I'm learning more about it because I have a girlfriend who's doing a lot of it, is that an adult dog takes 3 months at least to decompress. So
Gotcha. Okay.
that dog had not even settled into the place she'd been for 10 weeks before she moved. So the excessive panting could come down as she settles in. Is she gonna be with you long term, or is she just staying until you find her home?
Well, she's supposed to go back to one of another pet pro that's out in Utah.
Okay.
Or Corinne, I think is her name.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's
I know Corinne.
Okay, so she had this dog and a friend of hers, whatever. Anyway, she ended up here in Michigan.
Mhm.
The parents could not take the dog. They
Gotcha.
said that she was just too much. They got some issues going on in their life, so of course she's picking up on that too.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful dog. She's so gentle.
Mhm.
So being long term, my original thought was that as soon as Corinne could get, here to Michigan or vice
Mhm.
versa, however we could get her back to her.
Mhm. Right.
But now my kids are telling me that I need to keep her,
Uh-huh.
and
I
they
think
haven't
I heard
even met
about
her.
this dog. We were talking about this on chat today, weren't we? Or
Yes,
yesterday? Yes, I
yesterday,
know this dog.
correct.
Yes, this is a
Yep,
gorgeous dog.
yes,
So, okay, this is a golden retriever, right?
correct.
Okay, I breed miniature golden retrievers. I have a history with golden retrievers. I have several AKC golden retrievers myself. Corinne is probably even more of a specialist than me, but it's not uncommon for golden retrievers to be anxious. And they're very
Okay.
strong, deep bonded animals. So depending on what happened in her previous history and what went on there, yeah, she's going to have some recovery, and she probably will pant out of nervousness until she settles into her permanent place, wherever that is.
Okay.
And the
And
fact
I
that,
kind of thought that, but I was just
yeah,
like, okay, I just want to make sure there's something I'm not seeing.
no, I think this is really normal. And also golden retrievers just pant when they're happy. Like, is it hot where you are? I bet she has a real thick coat, doesn't
Yeah, it's
she?
pretty warm here in Michigan right
So
now.
like it could also be that she's hot. But seriously, like my golden retrievers, just when they're happy, they're like, and
Yeah.
those are nervous dogs. They're just, hi, what are we
Okay.
doing? I'm just here to hang out with you on the couch while we watch TV, and it's the most boring night of the week, and nobody's anxious. There's no garbage
Right.
truck. I mean, so some of that can't. There's different reasons why golden retrievers pant. So is she drooling a lot?
Yeah, she drips.
Okay, and that could be heat or it could be anxiety. I'm sure anxiety's in there actually.
That's my
So
guess.
when you're gone for 12 hours, is anyone else home that could take her out for a little bit and love on her?
Nope.
Or
Nope.
so
And it's
she's
not
in a crate for
normal.
12 hours?
Yeah, it's not normal that I work 12 hours.
Okay.
I work out for our utility company, and we just had
Mhm,
huge storms coming through these last couple
mhm,
weeks. And of
mhm,
course one happened just today, so they was like,
mhm.
Melissa, you got to come in. So,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
normally it
Well,
would be like 7 to 8 hours.
yeah. Well, like there might be an option if you could even have somebody come in and get her out, let her run, throw the ball in the backyard for her 5 to 10 times, as long as it's not too hot, love on her a little bit. And then, then she could maybe have, a couple ice cubes and a Kong or something in the afternoon for something to do while you're gone.
Gotcha. Right.
So like what I do is I take bone broth and I put it in a Kong and I lay it on its side in the freezer. So there's a big fat ice cube frozen in there. And
Okay.
then I can give that to them and they can work on that for an hour, and it wears them out. It gives them something to do. They need purpose. Golden retrievers are
Right.
originally meant to work. So no, I think considering what this dog's been through, this is really normal. And she's trying to work it out. She's trying to figure it out. And the fact that she's gentle and she's not aggressive or anything.
Not at all.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
she's just distressed and afraid and probably wants to go home, but where is home,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So yeah. Yeah, well,
Okay.
I'm
Well,
glad she's with you. I'm glad she's with you.
yeah.
And I would definitely feel the freedom to use the Chillax. You can use Chillax and CBD Mega together, and you can use Chillax for many days in a row if needed, but you're not really meant to use it for like 6 months straight or something. So, you
Okay.
can use it, but you just don't want to use it every day around the clock for a year. Like that's what
Right.
CBD
Right.
is. CBD is designed for that, and we know it's safe for that. The other
Gotcha.
thing is a chillax bone. She probably is a chewer or a Benebone,
Well,
something
see,
like that she can have.
I was a little nervous today having her here. I have a Ring camera that I put in the house so I could watch her
Mhm.
wander through the house. And
Okay.
I thought, man, she's going to chew on something, and because she's
Mhm.
the stress, but she did not chew anything. She tinkled a couple times, but She did amazing.
Good. Yeah, 12 hours, I'd have to tinkle too, right?
Yeah, well, my daughter did come like just before noon
Oh,
and let
good.
her out. And so but
Okay.
then she had like another
Okay.
7 hours yet before I could get
Yeah.
here.
Is she crate trained?
I think Corinne said she was,
Okay.
but I
Because,
was thinking I didn't want to go there
well, if she likes
if I
it, like
can.
my dogs, I've got a couple dogs who prefer to be in their crate. Like at night
Okay.
when they're sleeping, they can free roam the house, but they sleep in their crate. They feel safer there. And when I leave, they're going to the crate asking to be put in it. Like they
Okay.
want the door shut. So some dogs are more anxious about having a whole house to protect while you're gone. Whereas
Okay.
some prefer to be roaming. I mean, you can play around with that, but
Okay. Yeah, I'll
she's
try
gonna
that.
be anxious and it's okay. Like it's gonna be
Right.
okay. Yeah. So it sounds like you're doing a great job.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I want to make sure. I didn't want to
Yeah.
overlook something.
No, I think you're doing great. Does anyone else have any suggestions for Melissa from their experience?
Thank you,
Let me see if
ladies.
there's anything. Yeah, let me see if there's anything in the chat. Okay. Oh, Deb. Okay, so Deb's talking about raw bones. Do you want to come off mic and talk about that?
Hi, I am
Hi,
off
Deb.
mic. Hey, yeah, he is always chewed just because he was a
Okay.
rescue, and I got him when he
Uh-huh.
was 3, so he'd never had
Yeah.
anything to chew on, including a
Mm.
toy or a bone. So he's always chewed, and I call them raw bones, the kind you can buy from the grocery store that have limited meat inside them. They're hard bone, but he will chew on that feverishly for about 2 days, and it's not even done, and I have to throw it away. So I
Because
gave him
it's getting dangerous.
no, no, no. Oh no,
Oh,
he's not getting dangerous. He's just done with it. He's like,
oh,
yep,
okay.
it can sit in my living room for a month, smelling bad. And he just throw it away. All right.
Okay.
But the chillax bone, I even tried because it has little holes, put the peanut
Mhm.
butter in it, and he will
Yeah.
lick it. He will lick it and chew on it
Okay.
until the peanut butter's gone.
Okay.
And then, like recently when this has been coming up, I thought, well, maybe I'll just try chillax bone with peanut butter,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and he won't even touch it. So
Huh.
I'm thinking, and large dogs don't usually live to be his breed. 10 is the average age span for them. And I didn't
Yeah.
have him as a puppy. So he
Yeah.
hasn't been on paw tree his whole life. So I
Mhm.
had to learn from what I've, learned about feeding him and what he needs. And this is allergy season for him. I mean,
Mhm.
he puts his
Mhm.
head in every plant that he can when he's out. So, our allergy support does a wonderful job, but yet he still puts his head where it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm sure bothers him. So, and
Mhm.
I haven't used the CBD because when he overruns, because he's a big dog, he's optimum weight, which the vet says he's really good weight, but I mean, he
Yeah.
overruns or overplays. He might limp here or there, and I
Yeah.
just give him
Yeah.
one chillax for 3 days, and he
Mhm.
walks right out. I haven't
Mhm.
considered it for anxiety, but I work
Mhm.
from home and I'm just noticing behavior change, like following me. He follows me everywhere. That's his breed. But
Okay.
he is concerned where I am, whereas before it was just this is what I'm supposed to do. Now it's he's concerned.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah.
thinking, right, maybe this is an older dog thing that I should just
Mhm.
be giving you CBD,
Mhm.
daily with all your other supplements
Mhm.
because like I said,
Yeah.
allergy support it's a must. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Because he puts his head in every bush that could make his eyes just get infected. He does. I can't control him on a leash, meaning I can, but that takes away from his
Yeah.
enrichment.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
don't wash his face off when we get in, but it still gets to him.
Yeah.
So
They
you're
still.
suggesting CBD, I think, just a daily thing, at least during allergy season.
Yeah.
Maybe when
Yeah.
I live in Maine, so maybe when we get to the first frost,
Yeah.
it's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea because it really is impactful for allergies, but you really have to take it daily because it has to do with cell renewal. The cannabinoids, I can never, canana, I can't say it. The aspect of the effectiveness in CBD, which has a fancy name I can't say, it has to do with cell renewal and how it impacts all the systems of the body. So that's why it's relevant to do it consistently. But yeah, it will help with the allergies, with the allergy support with that will really be effective, I think, and really
I
help.
just want him to not be so anxious about, you
No.
know, the day. I mean, I go up over the
Mhm.
stairs from my office and he thinks, "Oh, we're going somewhere." I'm like, "No, we're not going anywhere." You know,
Yeah,
he's like
yeah,
second guessing our normal routine. It's like, why are you
uh,
second guessing this? So I think I'll just
yeah,
put him on there and see how he does because,
yeah.
like I said, he's not bad yet, but I see it coming.
Well, you could do it for 3 months and see what you think. You know,
Yeah, I think
see
that's
what
the
you
best
think
way.
and go from there. Mhm. For
Thank
sure.
you. Very
You're very
helpful.
welcome. Good. Okay, let's see. Let me see if we have anything more in the chat. Anybody else have thoughts or questions? Okay, well, I guess I'll just move on. The next slide is here. So we're really glad you were able to join us tonight. These monthly educational meetings are something that we love providing for you. I know I enjoy getting the knowledge from them as well. So Pottery Live is going to have our next class on Tuesday, August 20th. So we do not have a July meeting, but we will have a class led by my good friend Melanie Daybell, another amazing, knowledgeable long-term dog lover. And this will be all about digestive issues in pets. So I hope you can join us for that. If you, since you all enrolled in the class tonight, you'll get this information in an email coming to you, as well as the PDF I just showed you. So you'll have those things for reference. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was an honor to be with you.